Hello, everyone, and welcome to another week of games for Valence League. Today, we're going to be going to Division 2B, and we're going to see Host and Duascht Gaming, I'm not sure how to pronounce it, against Sacramentum. I am TNG, and I am joined by my partner, Continent.
Hey,
So we're hoping for a maybe a bit one-sided game today. Sacramentum are 3-0 in the standings right now, and they have beat uh, Garlic Bread Mafia, which are currently top of the standings. Two they beat them 2-0, so they are definitely looking like a very very strong team. On the other hand, not that good a start for Host. Lost both games they played in. Had to forfeit one. But let's see, maybe they can pull it back today, and that would be definitely a very good morale boost.
I'm actually pretty amazed they won against Garlic Bread Mafia. They seemed like a very, very great team when we casted their games last time. They seem to have great coordination, some great meta picks with the Nivea mid. That was not planned, but worked pretty well. So I'm actually very curious to see how Sacramentum will perform this game. Never seen them play. So it's going to be a very, very interesting game.
Yeah. Um, let's see if we get some spicy picks to maybe some pocket picks here. That would be definitely fun.
It's gonna be. I don't think it's gonna be a complete one-sided flop. I'm putting some trust in Duascht Gaming. Let's see if they can pull out a surprise performance,
Let's
even
see,
if
this is
they
that.
lost versus Garlic.
Yeah, and this is definitely the time where they need to start pulling off those performances. We have a couple of weeks left. So they definitely, if they're looking for those playoffs, they definitely need to win this game and start getting some momentum.
Okay, we already start with the Evelyn ban. Interesting ban. Not even I've not been seeing any Evelyn actually being played, but I sense it's probably a good target ban. Corki ban as well, and Sejuani as well. What do you think about the Evelyn and Sejuani bans? Since they're both junglers.
Evelyn is definitely a very interesting pick. It can, if it snowballs ahead, it can definitely just destroy a game completely. The Sejuani, with the jungle nerfs, it could be a very good jungler since you get a lot less XP, a lot less gold. Sejuani will always be a very useful champion, even if behind, because with the amount of CC there is and with tankiness there is, it's just very useful at all times.
Okay,
And
we also have Kai'Sa banned. Kai'Sa really a really popular AD carry with a lot of pick rate. I think it was 30% last patch with a 50% win rate. So Kai'Sa really strong and a really good ban. And we have the Udyr pick on the blue side.
yep, definitely one of the strongest junglers right now. Ridiculously strong, clear, able to pretty much be anywhere in the map. Um, so, a very decent first pick.
Also see a Rengar being hovered. Senna already locked in. Nuno is also a very interesting pick. Nuno can literally snowball his way into lanes to help his laners win. Very good ganking potential that Nunu has. Senna, is it going to be played AD carry or support? I think AD carry because she's a bit stronger AD carry than she is support within the Kraken Slayer Rageblade build. And actually a pretty good laning. Pretty good, decent laning that she has. Not great, not bad. And the blue side bot lane already picked. What do you think about this?
I think it's a good response into the Senna, although it is kind of a coin flip. You're pretty much just betting on Tristana Thresh being able to shut down that Senna completely and just put her out of the game. But if they don't manage to get that lead early on, they are just completely outscaled by the Senna.
True, we already have both bot lanes for both teams already picked. So it's Senna Leona on the red side for Sacramentum and the Thresh Tristana on the blue side for gaming. Actually, it's a pretty interesting matchup with the Leona pick right now. Leona, it's a decent support, nice CC chain, CC lock that she has for an enemy carry. Good shutdown for Udyr if he tries to run down Senna. She can just Q him if she sticks close to Senna. So we'll see. Already a Galio and Echo banned. Interesting,
Yeah.
interesting.
And this Leona definitely says that they probably want to play towards bot side. Because otherwise I don't see a reason not to pick just an enchanter and just say, okay, we're gonna play top side. We're just gonna let Senna scale up. No, they do pick the Leona, and Senna is surprisingly good in lane. A lot of people think that because of how big her scaling is, that she's not going to be that strong. But she actually deals a surprising amount of damage early game, and she's got a lot of slows with her W routing and with if she takes glacial augments with that Q slow on everyone. She can set up ganks very easily, and that can turn a lane very quickly.
Okay, we already have the Anivia and Victor shaved off from both teams. Anivia on the blue side and Victor on the red side. Now we're gonna see who's gonna get the counter pick. Is the Sacramentum gonna give the counter pick for the mid laner or the top laner? Sticky situation either ways. Say they go for the top lane hover pick right now, and they pick Chen. Nice pick, to be honest. A good
Yeah,
champion to pick blind.
that definitely confirms that they're just going in on the Senna pick, trying to get her ahead and outscaling, just shutting that Tristana down, not letting her do her thing. But the Volibear response is good. Volibear is a very underrated champion in my opinion. He's very, very strong in lane. And he can be very, very dangerous if he gets ahead.
And now we have Ziggs locked in the mid lane, and Lamps will get a counter pick right now. We'll see what he picks into Ziggs. Ziggs, a nice, decent mage, has decent wave clear. He can use his W to avoid some sticky situations, and can cancel the new snowball gank if he lands it. Let's see what they try and pick if they're going for a roaming mid laner. And they picked Kassadin.
So they're going for the complete and utter scale. They're just saying, we're not scared of you. We're gonna just farm until 3 items and then we're gonna smash you.
But both Senna and Kassadin actually have a great 2 item power spike. I've played recently Kassadin and I've seen some Sennas. Senna, when she builds Kraken Slayer and Rage Knife, she actually gets a decent amount, a very decent amount of damage. And Kassadin, when he gets his Seraphs and the other item that I'm forgetting the name, he also gets really, really strong in terms of a surprising amount of damage for how much he actually scales. A good pick against Ziggs because Kassadin obviously may take Fleet. I'm not sure, or will go for Electrocute. And also, he has the Magic Shield for his Q, so he can poke and get the shield to counter the poke from Ziggs. Although Ziggs will deal a lot of damage in lane since he is a ranged champion versus a melee. This will be a clash of the junglers as well. Udyr and Nunu, both junglers that gank a lot. We'll see how they scuttle around for the scuttle crab in the river, and also see which way will they path. If Udyr is gonna go a bit of a more bot side-ish approach with the Thresh and the Tristana, or will go top side to aid Volibear, which I doubt because I'm not seeing Volibear actually needing that much of a focus on top lane unless something goes really wrong in the bot side and they have to play weak side. So it's
Yeah,
gonna
I'm not
be
sure.
an interesting
It's gonna
game.
be interesting. Yeah, and I think Blue Side definitely has put themselves on a timer, and they are the ones that need to be making proactive plays right now. They need to be going for those picks. They need to be going for those early dragon fights, early herald, getting some early turrets, getting leads, going to the enemy jungle, because if they just let this Senna Kassadin farm with such a big front line with Shen, Nunu, and Leona, also a lot of engage, at 3 items, it's very scary to fight the Sacramentum team right now. So they definitely need to shut those champions down, get leads on the Tristana, get leads on the Ziggs, get leads on the Volibear, start just choking them out of every kind of farm they can, every kind of CS, and get that first Baron and just end the game. Otherwise, it's going to start becoming very, very scary to teamfight.
Both mid laner, top lane, and bot lane have, or I maybe not bot lane that much, but they do have prio in lane. They can push the waves. So since Udyr is the jungler that he is, I sense wherever side Udyr is, both laners should go and push out their waves so they can follow Udyr into the enemy jungle to try and get a skirmish. So they starve Nunu out of jungle camps. Nunu is always useful. Nunu is a tank and he has a lot of utility. But if they starve him out from farm and get a few kills off, maybe a few forcing some skirmishes and forcing the enemy mid laner to lose some waves, it's actually very, very powerful thing to do in this game. And also getting prio over the Drakes is going to be huge since they have the advantage in the early game. Still, I'm sensing that this game might go in terms of winnability to Sacramentum. I think it's a more winnable game for them than I think it is for the blue side team. I mean, since they are in the timer, it's really puts them in a sticky situation. And I'm not really fond of the Ziggs mid lane. I just don't think it's like that amazing pick versus the enemy team. But is what it is. Gonna see how this one goes. I'm betting on Sacramento right from the start. Just have a feeling that they will win. What about you?
I think definitely we have to give the edge to Sacramentum with the easier to play team comp. Just they don't really have to do anything. They just need to farm and just get those items. The pressure is completely on host. They are the ones that need to be going for those plays. And with the start that they've had, this would be a great way to turn it around, but it's not going to be easy. It's definitely going to be a very, very hard task in front of them. But we'll see if they are able to pull this off. They're able to get those leads, get that pressure, and get a kind of a surprise win right now.
Like I said in Champion Select, Kassadin either went with the fleet or with the electrocute. It seems like he came with the electrocute, wanted to have that kill pressure when he reaches 6 or completes one item. Really, Kassadin Ziggs has to be really careful because Kassadin actually in this new patch, this new couple of patches, or the new items actually deals a lot of surprising damage really early on that people are really not expecting. Tristana coming with the exhaust, actually a good spell if you're afraid of Kassadin. Not that it's gonna help that much. And versus Leona, it's like who you're going to exhaust. If she goes on you, either you W away or you're already CC chained into oblivion. So, kind of an iffy. I know you have a lot of expertise in the bot lane, so what do you think about this exhaust Tristana into Senna and Leona?
I actually like it. Because Tristana in this game, its only purpose is definitely to smash that lane and just make sure Senna doesn't get anything. So that exhaust will probably help a lot in the early fights, and might be the thing that turns it around. Yep.
Yeah,
We'll see. Senna is not the most effective target to cast exhaust on, since her DPS early game is, it's not the best. She kind of keeps you in the same place for a long time, and that's how she deals a lot of damage. But especially if you're going in trying to engage, I don't hate it. I the heal might still be the best, but I definitely don't dislike the exhaust. Now I
yeah.
am I don't I'm not quite a fan of the press the attack.
Press
Uh,
attack on Tristana.
yeah,
Hmm.
you usually take it because Hail of Blades does not scale. So you usually want that press attack to be able to do something in later fights. But as I said, you need to smash this lane, and Hail of Blades early on is very, very oppressive. So I personally would prefer that Hail of Blades pick to just completely go in on the lane. Oh, and press attack is not bad, but I do feel like the Hail of Blades is better.
Okay, we already see the blue side jungler starting top side. Leona going for the ward on the bot side to try and get a feel for where the enemy jungler is. Nunu starting on the red side, showing that he will path bot lane, trying to get that bot lane presence. Udyr doing the same thing. It's going to be
Oh,
a
it's
heavy bot lane game. And
not a
Tristan is
bit.
mid lane. Wait a
Okay,
second. This is really interesting.
okay. So we got a little bit of a lane swap here.
Gotta bean Boozle. I said exhaust will work kind of against Kassadin, so it actually was against Kassadin. She was picking the exhaust, so that's actually really really interesting. Kind of hit my prediction right there. Bot lane, you have the actually kind of a weird. It's a good lane because Ziggs pushes and gets a lot of priority. A lot easier than Senna, I think. Not really familiar with Ziggs, how well Ziggs lanes against, but since Nunu is gonna path bot and both junglers are gonna be pathing bot side, actually sending the Tristana mid lane to shut down early game the Kassadin or try to deny as much as gold as he can from waves from Kassadin. It's actually a really smart choice and play to make.
Yeah, I definitely like this because with both Udyr and Nunu definitely starting the top side, definitely going into that bot lane being definitely the focus of both junglers, they can win that 3v3 anyway, probably. I definitely think if they play correctly, they can still win that 3v3. And this way, Gaston is a lot more pressure than the mid lane because Tristana is very strong, and as you can see, she's already doing some damage on those blades.
Okay. Bot side river, Nunu and Udyr having a scuffle. Both bot lanes have semi-fire, but Senna's been caught off guard and separated from a support. She's been hooked, ignited, and taken down by Ziggs. Nunu comes with a follow-up, trying to save the Leona, trying to get a trade onto Thresh. Thresh will fall as well, since there is no heal in the bot lane. So right now it's a 1-for-1. Ziggs gets stunned by the Leona, but I don't sense a kill originating from this play. 1-for-1, kind of going in the blue side favor because the Ziggs got the kill, while on the right side Nunu actually got the kill. And gold on Nunu, yes, it's kind of good, but it's not the best considering that gold should have went to one of the carries. But since Sen was there was really no choice.
And the kill was on Senna, so she probably, I'm not quite sure how the wave is in bot lane,
Scuffle
but
on
she
the top side.
definitely lost Flash Forest. But Senna definitely lost a bit of CS. And I definitely think that's a misplay by Sacramentum. I don't think you should be going for these early fights. You don't need to go for these early fights. As we said before, you can just farm and scale. And now Ziggs has a kill, your Senna died, and this could be the start of a very heavy snowball on bot side.
Senna still has her summers up, as well as Tristana, and Thresh does not have Flash. If Nunu can time a very good gank, they might get a pick-off on Thresh since he has no mobility. So this is actually a good opportunity for the red team to, if they really want to make play bot side, it has to be on Thresh. Because, or Ziggs, I guess, but Ziggs also has Flash, has the W. You might as well just want to Thresh try to get your Senna with a kill, get out of that 300 gold. Now we're gonna see what we expected to happen mid lane. The Tristana being overbearing in terms of poke damage against Kassadin. But the goal difference, not that huge. Kassadin actually having the 29 CS, which is the 35 of Tristana.
Yeah, and I'd just like to point out that Senna, and especially Leona, after that kill on Senna and after that reply from Nunu, Leona actually managed to freeze the wave So Senna did not lose any of that CS, and Senna just managed to freeze the lane under her turret. So they are very, very safe. And as you can see now, Udyr is on the bot side, but he can't gank because they are under the turret. No,
You see a small, not very small, a huge chunk of damage just going Tristana's way. As I said before, Kassadin deals a lot of surprising damage in the early mid game. People are really not expecting. Tristana has the back now, and she's in a sticky situation because now she feels a bit of the damage that Kassadin can deal with the electrical. So now she's going to lose a small bit of priority in lane, having now to reconsider the amount of damage that Kassadin can dish out. But still,
with the engage.
Nice engage ball.
So 5. I think the thing was a little bit too early in the engage from Leona. Should wait a little bit more. Nunu was still getting into position. And but a good play by Thresh just shutting down completely. But this does give... Oh, we're gonna see a fight here probably.
A fight for the Infernator. Ziggs is still bot side, so this will not be a blue-sided favorite team fight. Unless Ziggs rotates. Ziggs is now rotating and is now in range for abilities. The red team is really, really cheeky. This might be a huge throw in terms of gold leads, but Udyr just gets stomped by the Nunu slowball and the CC, and is a kill for Senna. Kassadin with the slow. Thresh is also going to get picked up because he has no flash. And this was actually a really interesting turn of events. This sure went blue side favor. They played that really sloppy. They didn't go as a team through the river, but they went kind of separated, resulting in a loss against the red team in terms of a trade. Now Senna is in a kind of a nice spot, again, considering the amount of gold that Ziggs has. Really interesting fights.
Yeah, that definitely, I think, was a misplay by host. I don't think they should have gone for the steal. I think they should have just clumped up as 5 or as 4 in this case, and then jumped in together. Volibear had TP. He decided not to join the fight, which is... I'm not sure if that's the best choice, because as I said, they need to be going for these fights. They are the ones that need to be taking initiative, and you see Sacramentum with the scaling comp taking the initiative and getting a lead, and when the scaling comp gets lead, that's never a good sign.
Now we see a Rift Herald skirmish coming right up. Udyr actually get it? I think he smited it, so Udyr got the Rift Herald and picked it up. Will die for it though. I think it's kind of worth if you use it and all the gold goes to one person. I mean, it balances out the gold, shaves a lot of health from the tower, but and it takes a bit of an objective out of the map. But you're not the team that should be taking these trades, since you have to be winning. You have to win early game. Mid game it's iffy, and late game you just lose. So this is actually not at all a worth trade for the blue side.
Yeah, definitely not. I think they should have not had Udyr Soul that when Tristana was in base and there was no priority in top lane. He had no reason to be there. He couldn't. He had no priority in any of the lanes. And Leona had just back, was rotating. So that was easy pickup. And they do get the Herald. They probably will get some plates, but I'm not sure if that's enough.
Small skirmish in the mid lane. Kassadin has Tristana in the kill range in terms of health bar. If she oversteps a little bit, Kassadin will get the 1v1 kill.
But there is exhaust up on Tristana.
Also that, I think he still, since he has the dash, she doesn't have flash, I think he can dish enough damage to kill her. He does have the Lost Chapter already. Small skirmish in the top side. Just trying to trade a bit. But the champ is really tanky, trying just to get the grass procs. Leona trying to roam in the middle, but Udyr setting up a nice protection for Tristana since he's farming the Raptors.
Yeah, and the Senna still with the CS lead. This definitely shouldn't be happening. Oh, but you see the channel.
And the kill range in the mid line. Flashes forward, Kassadin does not have ult. No, he already has ult. The flash stomp into the Senna ult, and the kill force to Senna. Leona with the ult engage into the Ziggs and the Thresh. Udyr is already bot side, ready for the counter game. And This might be a kill for blue team if Leona continues this engagement. Even if she tries to run away, Volley already TP'd, and there is no chance of her surviving. And it is, at the end of the day, a 1-for-1.
Yeah, it is still a 1-for-1. They will probably get some plays here, but there's 3 people to share the play though. I think Thresh should back. Thresh shouldn't take this gold, but he will. So this will reduce the amount of gold that every player gets because it is split among the people that are close to it. This definitely lowered the effectiveness of the Rift Herald.
In terms of concentrated gold in the carries, yes. Overall gold, it's still the same. But yeah, you're right. Thresh should have backed off. He doesn't need that gold.
Go on Thresh where you don't necessarily need it, where you should really be giving the gold to there, and more importantly to Ziggs. But yeah, Red Team trading really well. Sacramentum with some really good trades. You saw the 1-for-1. Maybe a little bit of an overzealous engage from Leona in the bot side, but it ended up not being too bad, and they are completely fine with how the game is going. They are getting trade if they want.
Small skirmish in the middle. Leona already has ult, goes for the Tristana. Castlin will maybe get the kill. He does get the kill. Thresh is forced to back out after burning the ultimate. And now this is a really tough spot for the blue team. Shen having Fry in the top lane because he got ahead in terms of gold with the kills and his ultimate teleport. Now we have Senna with the Kraken Slayer already built, and Castlin with the advantage in lane. This is looking really grim for the blue side, and a really good game for Sacramentum. Keep in mind, if Sacramentum gets trades, even if they are 2-for-1, 1-for-1, it's worth it for them. They need to stall this game out so they can get their items, but they're reaching a sweet spot point when they can actually fight them 5v5. So this is going to be a really, really tough game for blue team if they want to pull off this win.
Yeah, they definitely soon get engaged. And I'm not sure if this is the engage they want.
Oh, Udyr tries to go for the steal. Flashes in, doesn't get it.
I don't think they should be going for steals. I think they have to be fighting right now because it'll just get harder and harder for them to be able to do anything.
And even trying to steal versus a Nunu, it's basically suicide. Nunu has a lot of true damage on his Q. Stunner going for the all-in Castlin. Castlin just holds away and gets the Senna ult for shielding. Doesn't end in anything. Nunu ulting. W, going with the snowball, trying to get the counter gank. Doesn't end in anything. And top side is just a farm fiesta for now. A few punches going around. So, again, red team, 2 Drakes up, reaching their sweet spot in terms of items, and blue team in an even tougher spot. Shen TP's in front of Volga.
Oh, and Tristana's definitely dead here.
Yeah, Tristana is not living this one. A great trap by the red team with Nunu and Leona. Pincery maneuvering the Tristana, overstepping to push the turret.
Yeah, overstepping was when everyone knew the team was back at base. Definitely no reason to be that aggressive. And this Tristana is very, very weak right now. Not even at the first item. And these fights are not going to be easy for her to play because there's a lot of range on that Senna, and Cassie can just instantly pop her. So this is not looking good for
Okay, we're gonna see now.
Sacramentum going for the proactive plays. The scaling comp is going for the proactive plays. That is not what's supposed to be happening, but that's just showing how much of a difference there is in this game.
They're playing out for the top side because Rift Herald is indeed up and Drake is not. Senna gets the steal of the blue buff that Udyr was trying to steal, and now Udyr in a sticky situation versus Kassadin and Senna. He does have phase rush, tries to run away. Tristana is here to help. Ziggs ultimate, hitting dead center on Senna. Shen ultimate on the Kassadin, trying to get a bit of a taunt onto Udyr. Udyr gets slowed by Kassadin, does not end in anything though, because the tower is there to protect. Senna lands the snare, or root, and does not get chased. Ziggs is trying to make something happen because he knows this is how they get the lead, but Shen is just so tanky and just maintaining a wall between them and the carries.
Top side.
Top side, Volibear will be ganked. Volibear actually has no mana, has to burst ultimate to run away. I don't think he actually died there. Even
I'm
actually think he
not
killed.
sure.
Since he has no mana, it's like
Yeah,
he
he did
doesn't
have
care.
some mana, so and
Yeah,
it
okay.
is the Nunu and the Leona, so they are quite tanky. But first thing that I'll do, and good trade getting out an ult. Volibear ult is not the biggest cooldown. It could give them a small window to do something, and or more importantly, it delays any possible engages by a little bit more from from that Volibear.
Okay. And now we have the, well, difficult part in this game. Kassadin, one item completed, and the Lucidity Boots. And now Kraken Slayer, Xertreeves, and now going for the Rage Blade. Senna is nearing her ultimate power spike with the 2 items. And this is going heavily in favor of red team right now. Even if blue team is ahead 1k gold, that really doesn't matter. Since Tristana is 0-3 and doesn't even have one item. This is really, really bad situation for her. Really don't know how she's gonna come back from this. Even if she's mashing Cassidy.
Yeah, she's still being able to match Gaston with she just has more stats at this point of the game. But that won't last for long, and especially with the deficit in gold, it's not going to be. It's not going to be good in team fights for Tristana. If she can split against Gaston for now, she's fine. But it's going to get to a point where Gaston's just going to start one-shotting.
Okay, now they're preparating vision and priority around the Drake pit, trying to see who gets it. I'm thinking if blue team, this might be their final time, try and do a 5v5 from their Drake pit and try and get a lucky fight where they get ahead, get some shutdown goals. This doesn't seem the case. Leona already getting chunked out of half of her health for trying to put up some vision. Ooh, they're running into the pit with Thresh. Volibear also running in. The ult from Ziggs right on the Dragon. Senna ultimate. Volibear is doing 3 damage on Cass. Cass has to flash away. Udyr will go down. Senna is doing 3 damage while Leona is tanking with Nunu and Shen. And this will go a team fight in favor of red team. An amazing played out fight. Blue team, unlucky. Kassadin and Nunu, both very low HP, but Senna was just free hitting that entire team fight. Nice hook from the Thresh, forces the flash out of the Shen. But again, one of their last chances to get something done, and they didn't get it. So I think this game is heavily sided.
Too late. It was just this is what they should have done on that first and on that second Drake. This was starting to look really good. They got in, they got that Volibear on multiple targets. They are starting to destroy those health bars, but it was just too late. Senna got the secure on the Dragon, and it was just the lead that they would have had with a team comp was just not enough because Sacramentum already had those key items on those carries, that Kraken Slayer, that Everfrost, that Sunfire Cape. They already have those items, and they are being matched by blue side, so there isn't really an advantage. And in a team fight, without an advantage, there's just no way you can melt through a Shan, a Nunu, and a Leona and still be able to win the fight. So that's what I wanted to see in the first 2 Drakes. It was the good idea, just a little bit too late.
Exactly, now we're gonna see Senna almost with the complete Rage Blade, Kassadin with the Sheen. It's now becoming an even more grim picture for the blue side team. Tristana 0-4, just now finished the Kraken Slayer. She's almost 1 entire item behind Senna in terms of AD carry marksman damage items. And now we see a blue team kind of falling apart right now. Baron is up. No pressure around it because none of the teams can actually do it right now. And if they do it, it's kind of an int. Udyr having to match Kassadin in the bot side. So this may actually set them up for a fight on the top side since Udyr is a jungler, does not have TP, and Kassadin does have TP for the rotation. Tristana also going bot side. Don't know what's happening there. Trying to switch up where she will match Casten, but as I said before, she does not have teleport. Casten has. If they force a fight on the top side, they will come out victorious because Casten can just ult away and then teleport. So it's gonna be forcing Tristana's hand to engage. Udyr going for the stun on the Casten, nearing very low health, very dangerous health. Casten really has the kill pressure right now with the items that he has. And it's gonna be a really, really, really hard game now for Blue Team to win. Bolivar already have HP. They're trying to burn his Alpha really quickly, and Bolivar will fall. There is no pressure being put on right now. Senna coming from the side lane. And getting hooked by Thresh. Thresh is all alone. Thresh will get ulted by Leona, snowballed by Nunu, and get completely shredded. Kill goes to Nunu, should have went to Senna, that's okay. Doesn't really matter anymore. Tristana is just farming, doing what Cassidy also wants, which is farming and scaling, so nothing much happening there.
I do think this game is quite over unless Sacramentum managed to make an incredible throw. Dragon Soul's coming up in a minute, and it's a Mountain Soul, which is even worse news for Host. If they get this Mountain Soul, there's just no way they have anything close to the damage to kill anyone from Sacramentum. And it's not looking good for the fight, so I think Sacramentum need to make a mistake, and it needs to be very heavily capitalized by Host, and even then, it's gonna be very, very hard with just the huge lead that is just gonna keep on growing bigger and bigger because this composition just doesn't stop scaling. And while Tristana is half item away from reaching the most powerful point in the game. Oh, and she could be dead here.
Ooh, a nice teleport. Coming in from Castellan. She doubles away and ults Leona. Flashes away, but still, the snowball will connect. Flash from Leona with E, and Castellan actually auto-attacking the turret with his W. That's a huge misplay. Not killing or finishing off Tristana, and now getting flashed on and ulted on by the Bolivar. Udyr is still running, but Castellan gets away with low health. Senna melting Udyr, and now Thresh gets a hook on Shen, but Bolivar will fall here to the red team. This was a nice pick from the red team to the blue team. Castellan misplayed, so it switched the roles. Almost a good pick from the blue team for the red team. And now it ended again in a red-sided victory in terms of the trade. Senna already with the Kraken Slayer and Rage Blade. Castellan almost has his Lich Bane. This game has just been decided with the Mountain Soul. This will now be if red team heavily throws or blue team heavily smurfs on red team in the final moments.
I don't even think they throw as much of a lead, and that fight on bot side, that was just smacking them with their wallets. There was no way Castellan should have even come close to surviving that, but they're just so ahead at this point that they can just do that. They can just dive a turret, misplay, and still win the fight. And look
look at this damage.
This is just, yeah, there is absolutely, even if Sacramentum throw this Baron and throw a couple of fights, there is no way, I just don't see any way for Host to come back into this game. It's just too much of a lead, and as I said, it's just gonna keep getting bigger and bigger because how do you fight this team?
3-level difference from Shen to Udyr, and Udyr still goes for the fight. This is an incredible misplay if he actually committed to that one. Shen, even if he's a tank, he's 3 levels above you, he will 1v1 you really, really hard. And we see the pressure mounting up on the top side since Shen is split pushing. Shen gets stunned and gets caught off guard by Ziggs being there. He can still maybe get something happening here against the Udyr, but it's not going to be able to do that. Gets the shield from the Senna ult and his passive, but will go down. A misplay from Shen and a shutdown goal for Udyr. Nunu trying to pick off Tristana and is not able to, and now it's a stalemate until Shen spawns again. Shen does have teleport. Him going bot was the right choice, but since Ziggs and Udyr were bot side, they should have done Baron. They should have pressured something to make the enemy blue side engage. Thresh kind of gets stunned, but now Leona will try and kind of get picked off. Not that they have enough damage to burn her actually, so it's kind of a blow in terms of punches from both teams as hitting their abilities. There's nothing much happening. But right there, they should have pressured Baron. They knew Jungler and Ziggs were bot side. It was an easy Baron, easy fight, easy advantage.
Yeah, definitely. I think that was unfair. There was no way. And even if Volibear, Tristan, and Thresh try to stop them, you can just, with such a very easy engage as Nunu and Leona, you can just turn on them, get picks, and then turn back into the Baron. They decided to play it more safe, I guess, because the pick on Shen means nothing at all. There's nothing to be gained other than that 300 gold from the kill. So they do decide to just play it a little bit more safe, which isn't necessarily the worst, but I do agree that the correct decision would be to just start off that Baron and end the game.
Okay, Caston already has his Lich Bane and already has that amazing CDR power spike. Caston now will actually, I don't know, he might go Zhonya's. I wanted to see the new reworked mage item, kind of reworked mage item, the Cosmic Drive. That after a certain amount of AP, they give like insane stats, like a lot of CDR and the movement speed. So that item will actually be pretty interesting to see being built. But he probably will go with the Zhonya's to just go in, dish out his combo damage, Zhonya's, and just wait, and then pull out or just continue on the fight since he has a lot of damage now. Yeah, this Senna will probably now go back to base to complete the rapid fire, and she does. So that's a huge power spike for Senna. I don't think right now she has a lot of damage. She's just piling on that damage with each item she builds, but this is like peak Senna in terms of items. Caston still needs one more item, but he already kind of just one-shots any squishy on the enemy team if he gets the combo off right and the ult damage stack up to maximum. Leona looking for a pick, goes into the Thresh and the Udyr. Caston and Nunu collapse with the engage. Thresh has the stopwatch, Udyr will go down to Senna, and does Thresh live? Oh, is it a oh, okay, Caston actually gets the Thresh. I was kind of nervous that Thresh will hit the hook on Cass, and Cass will be under tower, but even if he did, the Mountain Soul, he'll probably still live.
That was way in. Again, this is just over at this point. Tristana goes for the Stormrazor. I don't like that item at all. I feel like Collector is a better item on Tristana 100% of the time. But not that it really matters. Senna getting picked off.
Actually getting blown up by Ziggs.
Yeah, a little bit of a misplay. Thinking, you know, and head flash up. She could have flashed out. Maybe underestimating the amount of damage that Ziggs can pull off. But
yeah,
Ziggs,
I was surprised.
Ziggs does have 2.5 items. He is the only hope for blue side right now.
He has 3 items now.
Oh, yeah, just finished his 3rd item. So, but I don't think it's enough, but definitely catching Senna off guard there.
That was a lot of damage. I was not expecting that much damage from off of Ziggs, so good job, the Ziggs player. That was actually well played. So let's see how Red Team will shape up to try and end this game. They do have 2 teleports. They should send Shen topside and or bot side and Castle topside or bot side. Since Elder is up, might be worth just sending one topside to try and divert the attention and just hover around Elder, trying to force blue team into an engage that they don't like. And if blue team just doesn't engage, then the guy that went topside just kind of just takes inhibitor and then goes mid lane and so on and so forth. But it seems like they're grouping. Shen is going mid lane, trying to apply some pressure.
Oh.
And blue team currently has power.
Shen topside because he can instantly join with the ultimate. But blue team is starting the ultimate.
This will be a fight. Shen needs to teleport right now. Goes teleport onto Nunu, and exactly a fight that blue team does not want because they do not have the champions to match the Castellan and the Shen.
Yeah, that was just a disgusting amount of damage coming in from the cast and just instantly burning anyone that was within range. Senna was barely in that fight and they still got completely annihilated. Um, this was definitely just kind of a we have nothing else to do. Start of the dragon. There was no way they were going to win in any other way other than maybe getting a sneak, I guess, on that, maybe catching a mistake. But nope, they were very quickly punished. And this game will now probably be over. No, they're gonna back off. They're gonna play it safe.
Okay, Asana has the Hex Trigger, so this is gonna be tougher for Ziggs to kind of one tap like he did. So nice fight from Senna, since she doesn't need any more damage, she already dishes out an amazing amount of damage. We're gonna see the Cosmic Drive item on Caston, like I said, and it's just the item to buy. A lot of CDR, so Caston will actually have a really low cooldown on his abilities now. He has 1 second cooldown on his ultimate. That's actually that's actually really strong. Jesus.
Yeah, that definitely sounds like a very good item for Kassadin.
Okay, so Tristana nearing her third item. Ziggs, the fourth. Still, don't think like it's enough. Just the Casa scale, the Sana scale is just too much for them to handle. We'll see. This is probably gonna end up with one more fight before ending the game. So it all hangs in this one fight that they do. Red team kind of can lose a fight and they only take like 2 towers inhibitor at max. So
I say, even if Blue, the host, managed to get a miraculous win, hammered
he just ults constantly. Look at it.
lost.
Oh, actually,
Matters, though.
1k gold, but she will die now. Oliver, Ziggs actually trying to TP bot side, but that's actually going to be a clean dive from the red team. Leona still goes in with a Shen TP. Senna trying to actually almost gets blown up by Ziggs, but this will go in favor of the red team. They're just so fat that can just win these fights in the time.
Yeah, that was definitely expected from these comps. There was no way to win a team fight with that Tristana so far behind against such a fat gas and such a fat Senna. And especially with the Mountain Soul, that just gives them that extra little bit of survivability. There was no way to win. And that was pretty much a poorly played early game from a host, I believe. Uh, Maybe holding back a little bit too much, maybe being a little bit too scared from engaging and making plays. But with the comp that they had, they needed to be the one making plays. They needed to be the ones running into Sacramentum and shutting down those late game carries. But the opposite happened. That Sana managed to get leads. The Caston managed to get leads. The tanks managed to go free. And at the point where they started to fight, it was already too late. There were already items on the core members, and there was no saving them.
Ziggs actually performing decently, hitting those abilities on Senna, getting Senna low HP, not enough to execute her in these later fights, but still a good performance from Ziggs. Um, just some weird fights that happen, and this last part where Cass just ulted like 4 times back to back. That was amazing. I was not expecting to see that. Actually, seems really strong.
Yeah, that's
Well,
a good pick. Um, and we're gonna see how these teams react and how they change up their drafts. If we see some different approaches, maybe, or if we're still gonna see them sticking to their guns and just taking away from this game to change how they play. But all of that after we take a very short break So go ahead, get some water, get something to eat, and we will be back in a couple of minutes.
Let me take you for a ride. Ooh, tonight. Let me take you for a ride. Alright. Let me take you for a ride. Ooh, tonight. Oh, tonight. I've been running for so long, unclear about the path I was on. I was breathless, my heart restless. Every turn felt like it was wrong, but I kept going to show I was strong. Pushing to my own song, but you came, you made me see. The weight I put on me was too much, too tough to heal. I needed time, I needed to be still. is driving me insane. Silence rattles in my brain. Yeah, I gotta get away. Always waiting for the phone, so I built my towers tall, wandering through these empty halls. Break the cycle now. Walls are coming down. I gotta make it out. Yeah, 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 yeah. Look my fear right in the eye. I just wanna feel alive. I just wanna feel.
And we're back for game 2 of the series. We'll see how both teams adapt and what we see in this game.
Quick, short summary of the first game for people who weren't here or didn't see the game. A blue-sided pick of a early game kind of ish team composition from the Duascht Gaming. I'm just gonna call them gaming team against a kind of a scaling comp from Sacramentum. Sacramentum played proactively with the scaling comp, and gaming could not keep up with them, so resulting in a early kind of lead, going towards the scaling comp, which basically ended up in a win for Sacramentum, with some nice skirmishes and nice trades with kills going for their carries. We're gonna see if second game goes a bit differently. Same bans for both teams right now. So we're gonna see how this one will go up. Will we see another scale comp, another early game team comp that is on a timer that has to end the game before like X amount of minutes, X amount of items that the enemy team has. Again, Kaisaban, Corki, and Evelyn ban on the enemy team, on the blue-sided team. Seraphim banned as well. Basically the same bans as last game, nothing new. And Morgana.
Same thing as last game.
Udyr again the first pick.
So far, we've got the same draft. I'll see if they change something.
Okay, we're gonna now see. I mean, Udyr's still like he wasn't the problem last game. He wasn't the just should have played a bit more proactively. I mean, he tried, but he just chose the wrong times to play proactively in terms of getting objectives and getting fights. Because when he, for example, went to get a Rift Herald, his mid laner was in base basically, so he was outmanned. We're gonna see again the Senna and the Nunu for the red team. Is this gonna be the same draft?
So we're still competing in the draft.
Let's go round 2.
Let's see if they decide to actually run the same draft again or if they change anything.
Okay, again with the scaling AD carry that could go support, not as good as a support as some of the other picks. Volibear again going towards the top lane.
They do pick
Also
it
wasn't
picked in last time. So
Mhm. What are they going to? This is okay. A Zaya actually. Zaya is an interesting pick. I haven't seen a lot of Zayas, and an Aurelia getting hovered for the red team for Sacramentum.
speaking
Showing
of,
off.
I don't think Zaya's a bad pick at all, and we get the chance. So the same draft so far for Sacramentum. Shan again was picked a little bit later, so they rushed it a little bit to reply to the Volibear. But this Zaya is definitely could be definitely good. It's decent in the meta right now. Although I do think the Rakan being banned hurts her a lot. but she can still play the similar support. I'm not quite sure on the matchup against Senna, to be honest, but it's gonna definitely be. It could definitely be a very, very strong pick, especially if they're still going for that early game fighting composition. It could give him that and still scale a little bit.
Okay, we see blue team banning Lulu, trying to take away that enchanter support for Sana to play for Sana, so Sana can play the lane really safely. We might see a counter pick from red side in the mid lane if Miyako goes and picks the support already, and he's hovering Yumi. I haven't seen a lot of Yumi Senas lately, but that seems actually really not oppressive, but annoying to play against because
It
it's
is just.
just a lot of healing.
It is very, very safe. It's very, very hard to kill a Yumi Senna with the amount of healing from both Senna and Yumi. But they
Now I
go
see a
for
rail getting locked in.
okay.
Okay,
So they're still
okay,
saying
okay.
we're gonna fight you in the early game, and this. Let's see what they pick mid lane because Senna could be a decent fighter in the early game. If they go for the cast, then I'm not too sure. But if they pick a different mid laner, this could be a very, very strong team.
Here we have Alessandra picked
Do you
going
think?
for the mid lane. Alessandra, hmm, it's like hmm. Alessandra is an interesting pick. Alessandra has her ult that can go both ways. Either you can like just lock someone in the fucking in the tomb, or you can lock yourself in trying to survive as much as possible in the middle of the team fight and deal as much of damage as you can. We see Nautilus getting picked with Azaya, going for the aggressive ball lane since it's a center pick. Uh, Nautilus, really good tank, really juicy amounts of CC, and now we have Alessandro, who has a point and click ultimate CC that deals a lot of damage, and a Nautilus point and click ultimate that CCs. So that's going to be really annoying to play against if you're a carry. And we have Anivia also locked in for the red side. So interesting team comps. Very interesting team comps.
Yeah, I
I'm
feel like the spirit is the same. We still got a very early team on from Host and Sacramentum still with that scaling comp. But I do like the scaling a lot more from Host this time. That Lissandra and
exactly
Applied can definitely scale into the late game, and they won't be as useless after if they get behind as the last game Tristan did.
exactly took the words right out of my mouth. Zaya scales decently. Lissandra also scales well. Um, It's gonna be really interesting though. I'm gonna keep my eye on the Rel playmaker. Her ultimate, I'm sensing a four-man ultimate coming in this game. Anevia also has a lot of potential in terms of outplay ability. Her wall is a bit not hard to use, but hard to master in terms of situations and when to use it, or where exactly to fight with an Anivia to maximize her wall. She can deny the Nautilus Q with her wall as well, but still, the Alessandra pick and the Nautilus pick with the point and click CC will be a problem for Senna if Senna gets in range of both of those champions. Now, this is going to be really interesting to watch because either Senna stays out of the fight for a bit, waiting for the Nautilus and Lissandra to burst their ults, or she goes in and might get hit by one of them. She can QSS the Lissandra R, but she cannot QSS the Nautilus R. So that's going to be really kind of annoying for Senna to play against, unless Red Team does some weird magic where they pick off like Nautilus from even before the fight even starts, and it's a 4v5. So interesting game. This game, I think Blue side will do a bit better. Really hoping on that one. Lissandra does have the E and the W to kind of pick off Anivia in the lane with a gank with from Udyr. Unless Anivia plays like the lane really well with Vision, with the Nunu, and the wall to deny I'm sorry, not the wall, the stun and the wall to deny a bit of the Udyr gank. But bot lane, eyes on bot lane, eyes on bot side of the map. Top lane, same top lane as last game, but bot side will be really, really important. I'm gonna really, I kind of think that Nautilus and Zaya surprisingly will lose the engagement versus Senna and Rel. I don't know why I'm thinking that way, but I'm thinking that Rel and Senna actually win versus Nautilus Zaya if they get a sweet spot engage. Just
If they do
in the
get a
early
good
game.
engage, and if they manage to CC both of them, then they will at least win the trade very hard, yes. Uh, but if Nautilus is the one to hit a hook on Senna, or if I'm not actually quite sure how the interaction works, but I'm pretty sure Nautilus can cancel Rel's W. Can he not?
Ooh.
With the hook? I'm not quite sure how that
I mean,
interaction actually works, but it does seem like a good pick into Rel. And if he gets that Senna on a hook into the Xayah route, it's going to be at least a lot of damage, probably a kill.
yeah, but level 6, bot lane completely over. I'm not seeing a Senna Rel winning level 6 versus Nautilus Saya. Nautilus just clicks his R key on Senna and just walks forward, auto attacks or just Qs, and Senna has to take the feather damage from Zaya that will be in the meantime just right clicking on her. I'm not seeing any chance of level 6 Senna having a lot of priority in lane. Since that's actually the point of kind of picking Senna, you kind of want that Kraken Slayer Rageblade power spike, but playing against a Nautilus Lissandra, as I said before, is really, really annoying to be the hyper carry or the carry in terms of big damage in the team fight, big consistent damage in the team fight, when you're constantly walking back, afraid of getting hit by a Arky from both of those champions or getting run down by Udyr or the Volibear. Still,
I
interesting game. We'll see how this one
I'm
goes.
not a fan. Yeah, I'm not a fan of the cleanse on Xayah. I'm gonna be honest. I am really not a fan of that. You can not cleanse Rel's W. You can cleanse her E, but if she's gonna hit her E on you, she's probably already hit her W, and it's probably not gonna matter. So I'm really not a fan. I really prefer the heal over the cleanse to get that extra fighting power in lane, get that extra, movement speed even could be very useful for Nautilus to catch up. But on the other side, the cleanse on Anivia is very, very good, especially against Alessandra, because that's some CC you can cleanse.
Well, I have the spells. We have the one teleport for red team, and that is on Shen. And we have both teleports over on the mid lane and top lane over for the blue team. So blue team actually has the teleport advantage. So red team has to watch out for that one. Still, we'll see how this one goes. Interesting game.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay, we're gonna see Electrocute on Anivia, as expected. Electrocute on Lissandra. Kind of was expecting Phase Rush. I'm not sure if they even take Phase Rush on her now. Phase Rush seems really interesting on her. But the Electrocute to provide that extra damage is actually good on Lissandra. Don't think Blue Team is missing any damage on their team though, because Zaya, Lissandra, and Volibear. Volibear actually deals a surprising amount of damage, as well as Udyr. So it's gonna be a good game. Both teams taking up the default positions, protecting the entries to the jungle, trying to prevent some wards. Zaya throwing off the first blood here with the Q, making Senna go back to base. Well, it's a standard start to a standard game. Really think this game will go a lot better for blue
Minions have
team,
spawned.
and they just need to match the proactive play of red team because Anivia and Senna early game they do have the base damages, they do have a bit of utility, but come on, your team can do it. Just play proactively, try to get off the picks, get pressure on the Drakes, and I believe that blue team will come out on top in the early game and maybe have a good or amazing presence in the mid game. Both the junglers starting top side, clearly pathing to the bot side, the strong side of the map for both teams that they want to get ahead. So this is gonna be an early
Oh.
hook onto Senna. Senna has the flash
That's the
away,
flash.
level 1.
That's huge. That is huge because now Senna, for the next 5 minutes of the lane, she cannot get hooked or she's dead.
Exactly.
That is a great hook by Nautilus.
And a great start to the game for the blue team. Okay, I'm actually really wowed. Excellent hook, as you said. Pressure on bot lane. Blue side just has the complete priority over the lane. Another hook onto the Senna in the level 2. Rel has to W in. This Snarl is on fire. Senna's, Sacramentum's bot lane is already falling apart. In the early levels, Volibear almost getting solo killed in the top lane. What is happening? This game is just got a lot more interesting. So bot lane, priority, full for the bot side. Both junglers are in the bot side. Blue team will win the 3v3. Nunu has to be really careful on how proactive he plays around the scroll crab, because blue team will rotate faster and will have the damage priority if they get there faster. Mid lane, Lysandra kind of has the priority in the early levels for level 6, so we'll see how this Scuttle Crab skirmish will go. It will dictate a bit of the pacing of the game and the route that the game will take.
Lysandra trading a bit of HP since she probably is planning to go back anyway, making sure that the wave is pushed. And this is something you can do. This is very well done, because if you're going to recall anyway, you might as well use your HP that you have, of course, not die, but use all the HP you can use to get that lane pushed in, because you're going to get it back anyway. So it's very well done. I'm not sure if you managed to get it completely pushed in, but it's very close.
Okay, so we saw that Ulia opted for the top side,
Oh.
the bot side, and Nunu gets completely picked off in a surprise bush camp, and he's completely dead. That was a huge misplay by Nunu. If Udyr has a good clear time, was not in the bot side contesting the Scroll Crab on the bot side, he would only be top side Scroll Crab. It's the only possible path that he would be taking. So that was a bit of a misplay. Still nothing major. Nunu does not have flash though. Max damage onto Rel. A hook on the minion results into an engage from Rel. Xayah in a sticky situation cleanses nothing and will actually survive the ignites.
That cleanse was way too late. She needed to cleanse that E. Yeah, and she probably could have flashed double beforehand. Nautilus unfortunately hitting a hook on the minion. So bot lane turning around.
Top side with the engagement. I think Shen will probably get a solo kill here actually. No? Volibear actually flashes away and Shen is not too fond of flashing over to follow him. Mid lane, Rel going for the roam. Lysandra is completely pushed and almost out of mana. While showing up behind, hits the W. Will hit the stun as well. Oh, actually, she wasn't linked with Anivia beforehand. So there's no double stun.
Just enough time for Lysandra to be away.
Yeah, this is actually really huge for Anivia. Now she can push out the wave and reach level 6 and go back to base. This is the sweet spot of Anivia in terms of, not sweet spot, but the point of the lane where Anivia can just kind of sit back and not be completely stressed, because she can now just ult the wave, just be completely chill about it. Udyr is now playing for the bot side. The Drake is up, and this will be a gank on the bot side. Senna actually overstepping a huge lot without wards, and will end up in a kill for Udyr, and now the Drake will probably go for the blue team. Interesting turn of events. As I said before, the Drake will probably get done now. And with zero contest from the blue side, because Senna is indeed dead. Because they more proactive and a more cleanly played game from blue team actually.
Yeah, most very good job in this early game. A little bit of a misplay there by bot side. Oh, and they're going for the dive. They're threatening a dive there, but they saw Nunu and they decided against it. But I'm really liking this, and they're going for those plays. They are doing what they needed to in the first game, going for those engages, catching up. The Senna overstaying in the lane, being where she can't be, instantly punished. Nunu going for that top scuttle when he could have, instantly punished. Really well done. And Sacramentum, while they didn't get punished in the first game, they're getting punished now. But this bot lane is an engage. Oh, Senna might be overstayed. Yeah, she has to flash away. And now we have a fight. And Senna's gonna die in the bot lane, actually. And mid lane, we have another fight. And Sandra might be dead. No, she manages to escape. And just a great fight by blue side, managing to get that kill on bot lane. Senna going a little bit too ham. They're going for a little bit too much. And they got punished, both bot side and top side. And in the mid, they try and make a play. Ends up not working out. Lissandra manages to just get rid of her health. And we see two plates going to the Xayah. And this Xayah is starting to get ahead a lot. And this is looking like a much better game for them.
Exactly, they are playing very well in terms of proactive play, and red team again. They have the scaling champions, they don't need to take fights. They just can stall out the lanes, farm until they get the 1 item, 2 item power spike, and just trying to give a bit of objectives in the early game, trying to give a bit of prio, and then just fight for it. They don't need that in front of Drake, they don't need that thing right at the beginning. You can just give it and just fight for the most important objective, like the first Rift Turtle that Udyr had no presence over. So now, Rift Turtle from the top side being threatened, since Nautilus, Udyr are top side. Volibear pushing out the wave, now rotating bot for the Rift Turtle. And it's gonna be a free Rift Turtle. If red team does not rotate, now we're gonna see a collapse and it becomes from the mid lane.
Oh, and I'm not sure. Good fight.
This is not a good fight for the red team. They do not have the means to fight this. Anivia shows up, goes in a straight line to trying to get Udyr chunked down. Rel goes into the pit, trying to do some CC, gets a CC off on 2 people. Udyr, Shen will get thrown around, maybe die. He does not die. Nunu with the ult gets the Udyr shut down gold. Volibear will probably die here as well because of the CC. And this is a double kill actually. For red team, what went wrong? As well as Rift Turtle for the Anivia.
I think they split up a little bit too much. Udyr was into the pit while everyone was just running away. They split up a little too much. They weren't all focusing the same target, and that ended up giving enough time for Rel to get in and then turning it into a 4v4. Both AD carries in bot lane, but Senna having that ult, being able to shield and a little bit of damage, while Xayah can't really do anything. And I think that was just a small little bit of lead they needed to win that fight. But it's definitely not over. It's unfortunate for blue side, as it was very, very close, maybe only a few individual mistakes, but I definitely like that they're going for these fights instead of just holding back and trying to steal the Rift Herald. I definitely think this is the correct decision. A little bit of a misplay, but I do like the idea.
And now we're gonna see a better, more balanced game. Senna still a bit behind on farm. When I say a bit, I mean almost 30 CS, almost 28 to be exact. Now reaching the 30, but it's kind of an even game. Senna got 2 assists of that ultimate she sent. And Navy also got 2 assists. The 2 kills went, unfortunately, to the Nunu. Still, Nunu is a tank. He can make the front line with those 2 kills, 5 the tank items. And Navia, Rift Herald will probably get some plays in the mid lane. She can push really fast. And now we're gonna see blue team grouping for that Drake. They have ultimates. They have everything. This is the fight that will decide the tempo of this game.
There is no TP on Volibear, and Shen does have his ultimate. Fight, Udyr split up again.
Udyr is completely split up inside the pit, has no flash, will fall to the Nunu again. Senna getting picked off and getting killed by Xayah. Grell going through the 3-man in stun and ultimate. Huge from Grell right there, huge. Anivia gets the pop-off damage off to Lissandra, and Rel actually gets off the kill. Unfortunate right there, and if you really need that, doesn't matter, because that was a huge ultimate by Rel. Like I said in Champion Select, Rel is the champion to look after. Rel is a playmaker. That was insane, really turned this fight around. Instead of being a 1-for-1, they got a lot of kills, and they got the dragon.
Yeah, and that was just, the Volibear TP was almost coming up. They didn't have it, they needed to wait for that, because it just quickly turned to a 5v4, and there was just no way to win that. They were all split, and they keep doing this where Udyr goes into the pit and everyone goes outside, and they split up and they can. They are taking these fights, and they're losing because of these small mistakes, but they just can't make these small mistakes. They're starting to lose the lead that they had. They need to group up, they need to be coordinated, be together, work as a single force, and they need to make sure they have everyone there. They can't make the mistake of going in without their top hitters, especially against Shen.
And now we're gonna see Shen in a sticky situation. Gets ulted on by Voldy, Udyr is still there, smites him for the slow, and the Nimbus Cloak gets the stun off. Shen will probably get killed here. Nunu tries to save, but really he was a little bit too late. Anivia with the top of damage might kill Lissandra here. Never mind. Not engaging the bot side of the tower. They want Senna. Senna getting completely chunked. Nautilus waited down tower.
And that was miscommunication by the bot lane. Nautilus was expecting Xayah to continue to die, and he was wanting to tank one more so Xayah could finish the kill up on Senna. But Xayah didn't go for it. He stayed back, and Nautilus ended up dying for nothing. A little bit of miscommunication there. But I do like the idea. It was just a mistake that ended up costing them a kill.
Okay, Xayah still playing aggressive, even when Rel's in the lane. Senna just got the kill. Senna is
the teleport?
Teleport coming in from the Volibear. Volibear does not have ult, but does have the Q stun and the E slow. Goes in on Rel. Rel gets the stun off, but will flash and W away. There is no kill for the blue side, even with this teleport play.
Yeah, and Shen's gonna get some farms top lane. It was a good attempt, but not enough, unfortunately. But they will probably get that bot lane turret. Weir's here as well, so this turret's definitely going down. So we'll see if they can keep, if they can fix up these small mistakes and start getting their lead a little bit more ahead, because they are starting to get to the point where they don't have enough lead quite to fight the Senna Anivia.
We already have the big items, the Anivia, the Andres, and the Kraken Slayer on Senna. This is becoming a tough situation for the blue team. Tower is down on the mid lane for Lissandra. Lissandra in a really tough spot. Anivia, the predominant champion that she is has complete lane dominance, even with the other threats. Nunu already with the 3 kills, very tanky, cannot die easily, even with his ult shield, can deal a bit of a damage and sustain the fight. The bot lane went top, trying to get the turret since they got the bot side turret. Sen is now free farming, and this might be a fight in the top side, and maybe hits the stun on Nautilus. Nautilus getting picked off. Shen still has taunts, even if Nautilus tries to do something. Anivia gets the kill. Another hit, a 300 gold for Anivia. Lissandra goes in, trying to get the pick up on Rel, but Rel's just too tanky. Volibear ults, Nurd and Rel being the front line right here. Rel gets 4-man stun actually, gets ulted by Shen, but Rel is completely dead here, and it is indeed a 1-for-1. They still continue the fight. Udyr goes in, gets ulted. Anivia gets ulted by Lissandra, and this is a fight that will go in favor of the blue side. Shen gets almost killed. Anivia gets popped on the egg and will go down. And Udyr falls to the tower, and Nunu gets killed in his ultimate by Zaya. This will be a good Rift Herald, a good fight for the blue team. A good turn of events. Blue team is back on the game and is back on deciding how this game will go. Tower from top side will fall. Let's see if they go for Rift Herald or if they will reset for the Cloud Drake.
Yeah, and this is what I like to see. This is what they were trying to do, but they had constantly these small mistakes happening. This time, they don't make those mistakes. They go in, Rel splits up a bit from the team, gets picked off, and then they instantly go and turn back, and they get that fight. It was very, very close, but they get the lead, they get the third, they get Herald. They will trade a Drake for it, and Senna does get a little bit of farm on the bot side, but I do like that they are being proactive. They are going for these plays, and they're not just sitting around and dying like last game. They are actually winning the fight, and they have a better comp to do so in. They have a comp where there is not so much of a difference. They can actually fight right now, even at a small item disadvantage. They have ways to fight, they have ways to stay in the game, and they are showing that they are winning these fights, going in, punishing Sacramentum for the small mistakes that they do. And it's definitely a big change and a very nice change from the first game.
Blue team knew it was a 4v5. They pushed that fight to the maximum, and now Senna will probably start joining up the fights. She's been free farming, still hasn't caught up with the Zaya farm. It's a bit hard to do. Now, red team in the sticky situation. Kind of a bit of a misplay by blue team, choosing the second Herald over the Drake. But still, it's okay. They got it. They got the objective. Nothing big. Blue team now deciding the tempo of the game, kind of. They are playing a little bit more proactively. A lot more, actually, since last game. Now let's see how they deal with this situation. Will they fight now and try to push their lead now before Senna gets her 2-item spike and the Anivia gets her 3-item spike? Or will they just turn complacent and just let red team kind of decide on which objectives they fight, or where they fight, or when they fight?
Baron's up in a minute. We'll see if they want to not necessarily do the Baron, but get control over the area and bait red team into a fight, or if they'll just continue with this kind of farming waves back and forth, waiting for something to happen. We'll see if they what they decide to do and how they play this mid game. And Zaya is almost with that Essence Reaver, getting that power spike. Lyssandra's probably going back to buy her mythic item, a little bit behind the goal, but it's fine. She still has that ultimate. She still has that utility, even if she's not doing the biggest of damages.
In my opinion, if red team fights a standard front to back team fights, a clean normal fight, I think red team still has the advantage, because Senna hasn't been participating in this fight and they still been getting really close. So if Senna's in the fight, I think the results might change a lot. Anivia now split pushing in the bot side. Anivia does not have teleports, while Lysandra does. So it's another kind of 4v5-ish situation in the mid lane. Nuno going in, decides not to. Rift Arrow has been popped. Will we see a fight here? Anivia's already rotating, so we might see a kind of a flank from Anivia. Rel really eager to go in. She does have flash. Seems like they're just clearing vision, trying to get out some priority. Red team kind of dominating a bit of the vision in terms of the bot side jungle. So they kind of know more or less where the enemy team is and isn't. Nautilus trying to get rid of that vision. But it's kind of turning a bit of a stalemate. There's not much happening. Baron is up. None of the teams are showing that much interest in playing around it. Anivia is just farming both sides, trying to get her second item. And Senna actually, is still just basically farming like she's been farming the whole game. So nothing much is changing from the red team's perspective, but blue team kinda has to make something happen now. Lysandra has the mythic, Zaya has 2 items. They need to make something happen now before Senna finishes off her Rage Blade and the Anivia finishes off her Seraphs.
Yeah, I think they have to get the priority on this Drake. They need to get the fight on this Drake and shut down, because if they lose this fight, they give Soul Point away to Sacramentum, and they start getting a little bit too far behind. Um, they start getting that Senna and that Anivia a little bit too much ahead, a little bit too big of a lead. But if they win now, they can definitely shut them down. If they win the fight, maybe they can shut down a mid turret, maybe start getting some control over the jungle. And more importantly, they shut down the Soul Point. Oh, but Zaya probably got here.
Ooh, Zaya getting picked off. Has to burn the ultimate. This is really, really bad for Zaya, having to burn that ultimate against a Rel. Udyr running towards his bot sides, where Lissandra and Nautilus is. Red team really wanting this Drake, really wanting this Soul Point, really wanting the prior and the priority in terms of vision and control of the Drake pit. Nunu prepping the snowball, Anivia prepping the zone. Lissandra has to go out of the pit. If Red team drags this Drake, I think they can burst it down before Blue team can even react. Drake already down to less than half HP, and this will be a Drake for Red team. Blue team is giving up this Drake.
And I hate this decision. I don't think they should do this. I definitely think they should go for this fight. This is the point where they're going to be the strongest compared to Red team. This is the point where they are most likely to win, but they get scared away. Maybe too much pressure of having that lead, having that game close, and they decide to not take the fight, and they end up losing everything. They lose the Drake, they lose the top turret, they lose the priority, they lose tempo, they lose everything, and now it's gonna start being very, very scary.
Momentum being built up by Red team. Now it's a sticky situation for Blue team. Blue team still has the item advantage because Red team hasn't set. Oh, and we see now see a huge engagement, a flash ultimate from Nautilus onto the center. Center gets Shen ultimate. Rel with a nice stun. Udin will get picked off as well as their bot lane. Massive Rel 2-man ultimate. Valver going on the center. Center is really in a sticky situation. Lissandra is trying to turn but doesn't. Just gets pops by Anivia. Triple kill from Nunu. Is this a pentakill? A quadra kill electric boogaloo from Nunu. Nunu's really fed. And now this will be a Baron for Red team. This started great. A nice initiation onto Senna. Shen ultimate unfortunately is there. Senna does not die. Volley even after jumping onto Senna is not enough. Unfortunately.
Good start, and they force both summoners out of Senna. But as soon as they force those summoners, they need to go back. They can't continue, but they decide to push in a little bit too much. They get choked up in that mid lane kind of exit towards the jungle, and they just get completely comboed by the Rel into the Anivia, into the Nunu ult. There was no ult on Zaya to be able to stay alive, and it just was complete carnage, and it's become real bad, and now we've got both Anivia and Senna on their 2-item power spikes. Chen as well got Thornnail ready, and this is not looking good for host Sacramentum. Definitely got a huge lead, and let's see if they can break the base with Sparrow.
I'm not seeing Zaya can burning out the Shen health bar. Enable with a nice stun, but gets pulled by Nautilus. Nautilus is completely dead here. That was not a good play, trying to hook. He did not know where the enemy team was. So that was, and he had no follow-up, so that was kind of a misplay. Red team will get the turrets with the down buff. And maybe a pick onto the Udyr. Udyr has no dashes and also has no flash. Well, messes up her W, and Udyr will live because of it.
Yeah, and I think we're seeing some desperation plays coming out from the Nautilus, trying to get a hook in, trying to get a pick on Anivia, but Anivia hits a very, very good Q on Zaya, stopping the engage, and then with the wall, Nautilus already has no aftershock. He's just completely down. And this is, yeah, it's just looking like desperation from Blue Team, trying to get a pick, trying to make something happen, but it doesn't seem like it's gonna be possible.
Now blue team again not being able to decide the route of this game. Red team completely dominating all sides of the map, and it's really looking really grim for blue team. Blue team still has a chance. They still have the power play. Zaya getting picked off by Anivia wall. Huge engage from Volibear into the center. Center gets completely popped. Anivia goes into egg, even with the Shen ultimate. Nuno pops the ult, trying to slow and zone out. Rel pops the ultimate, trying to zone in the out. But this is a fight that may go into the blue team's favor and will go into the blue team's favor. All carries are there for red team. Now this is a cleanup mission for blue team. Back in the game, back to deciding how this game will end. And now they have Drake spawning and blue tower and mid tower to take.
And a huge engage. They try going on Zaya. Zaya ults away, and as soon as I ult, they're out of position. And even Senna are both very, very close to the tanks. Volibear instantly takes the opportunity, ults in, huge damage on both the carries, followed up instantly by everyone, and the fight just won. And this is what we mentioned before. They, with this comp, with the Zaya and this Lissandra, they have the tools to still win these fights. What they couldn't do before with the Tristana and the Ziggs, they can now win these fights if Sacramentum misplay, if they get too ahead, if they don't position correctly, they can be punished. And this is what you saw, 4 for nothing. And now they have position on the Drake, and this could be another fight.
This could be a giant throw from blue team. They did not reset. If red team just runs into blue team will lose this fight. They do not have these cooldowns on their ultimates yet. Nautilus gets picked up and will die.
Yeah, but I think they needed to do this because it was soul point for red team. They get
Exactly.
they delay the soul point a little bit more. They trade the life of a support. It's fine. It's Nautilus. The cooldown is that timer is not really gonna matter. As long as they now reset, they spend their gold, and they need to do it again. They need to, and this is the disadvantage of having this early game team be behind, is that one win on a fight is not enough. You need to win 2 or 3 fights, you need to capitalize on a couple of mistakes, but there's definitely, they're not giving up. They're fighting, but this might be bad.
They're getting picked off by Shannon and Senna. Senna's still in a stuffed position, now gets into the W. But this will be another death for Senna if she doesn't flash. She flashes and wastes heal. Both sums burn on Senna. This is huge for blue team. A bit of an overstep, going for the Udyr, not knowing that Volibear was there. No vision. Anivia trying to get the bot tower, but Nautilus is there. And now we see 3 items on Zaya. Zaya is a complete monster right now. She can burn down Anivia, Rel, and Zaya, and Senna, in like a flash. It's really, really a carry that red team just needs to take out.
Yeah, we're definitely seeing some very good fights, and as I said before, blue team not giving up, just struggling as much as they can, going in for these engages, getting those fights, punishing the mistakes, and very good look compared to that of game 1. And we'll see if they can close this out. Baron is going up, and red team is trying to trap.
Udyr going for a different itemization choice instead of going for the Lich Ring, going for the tank. Rel dodges the Nautilus Q. Nautilus just showing the dominance that he has over Rel right now, with the priority from the Zaya. Zaya is really, really big. The Senna still doesn't have the Rapid Fire Cannon, but we already see 3 items completed on the Anivia. If red team plays the fight slowly, if they kite it out, I really think they can come out on top. The blue team has a hard engage. The Lissandra, the Volley, the Udyr, the Nautilus, they have it all. They can end this fight in the flicker of a switch of the Archie. It's just how well they execute it and who they try to execute it on.
Yeah, and we'll see how they do this dance, how they do this burn dance. Red team definitely gives a lot of prime vision. And I would love if Shen went bot lane, because as we said before, he has that instant join button with the ult. He can be on the side most away from the map, but we're seeing a teleport from Lissandra, and we're seeing a possible engage.
Rel going forward, trying to get off 2 tanks of the enemy team. A really, really bad position for Nautilus and Udyr. And if he gets a bit of picked off, Senna gets Shen ult. Anivia is on egg. Will Senna fall? Senna will not fall. Anivia will get back in the fight. Udyr goes down, Volibear goes down, and this will be a fight for red team. Xayah trying to turn on Nunu, but will die here to the flash stomp. Nice flash stomp from Shen.
Yeah, and a mistake from blue side, not being together, splitting up. Both the tanks are going in from one side, and they get split, and they get completely turned on and shut down. And there was a few moments there where they almost managed to turn back the fight with the engage from Volibear into the backline, getting into the egg. But Xayah was too far away; she couldn't get in to deal that damage, and they end up losing the fight. And this is, again, a small mistake, a small position mistake, but ends up costing a lot. They get an ace, they get the Baron, and they're going to need to pull off another miracle fight to be able to stay in this, and we'll see if hosts have what they need, or if Sacramentum can finally clean up their gameplay, not get picked off, play it safe, play it slow, and win the game.
We see blue team actually executing their combo really well with the focus on Anivia and Senna. Anivia kind of misplayed the last fight in the positioning. She managed to reposition and stay alive because of the egg, but she does not have egg now or plans. So this is a tough situation. If red team waits a bit and dances around the Drake, Senna might get flash up in time for the next fight. Still, I don't think they will do that. Blue team is executing these fights, like, even if they are very simple.
Bad.
This is really, really bad, and gets completely one shot by the Anivia. Xayah goes down.
It's the second time that Xayah goes through that place without knowing if there's vision or not, without having vision in the bush, and gets completely one shot. And that's something that can happen. She needs to go through the safe play, through the safe path, because Xayah is the carry that blue side needs. They need to deal that damage. Lissandra is pretty much a support. She's just CCing and delaying the fight. Xayah needs to be there to deal damage, and it's Cloud Soul now for red team. Not the biggest soul, not the most effective, but it's a soul nonetheless. And we'll see if they can do anything with this Baron buff and the soul break into the base, or blue team with Xayah now up can pull off a miracle engage.
Volibear getting a bit pepped. Has to burn ultimate to escape. That's huge. Senna has one less threat to deal with. This every time Senna was participating in a fight, Volibear was just ult straight onto her face and dish out an amazing amount of damage in CC. And now he does not have that clean launch onto the Senna. This will not be a tricky situation. Shen going to split push like he should. He does have the teleport. Lissandra actually should have went there. She does have ulti. She has the man. That's probably she didn't go.
Oh, and
Volibear again getting picked and now getting completely cleaned by Anivia. Now this is turning really grim for blue team. Xayah going in the middle and trying to mash Shen. Shen does get the turret out. Bot turret will fall as well. They might get 2 inhibs off of this push if blue team does not decide to fight before it. Okay, they do get the 2 inhibs and now they will back off doing the safe play. 15 seconds until the Volibear is in the top.
And this is starting to look very, very grim for blue side. They send up Xayah to the top lane to get to the wave position. Have it should have been Lissandra, because they need Xayah with the main force, something like that. And Volibear was the second mistake in a row. First time he's forced to pop his ult, then no ult up, no flash up. Gets caught by the Anivia wall, and he shouldn't be getting those situations. But this is the disadvantage of the comp. They don't really have that biggest range wave clearer. They've got Lissandra, they've got Xayah, but it's, especially against Baron, it's not the best. And Volibear ends up getting caught. A beautiful ult from Anivia. Instant jump in, no way to escape, and that's 2 inhibitors down. And this is starting to look very, very grim because, again, one fight is not enough to win the game for blue side. They need a couple of fights. Unless they get a complete ace with a wave, they're not going to be able to win. And it's not looking. It's getting harder and harder every time they try and fight. Every time they lose. Every time red team goes back and buys items. Every soul Senna gets, it gets harder and harder to fight.
Okay, now we actually see the core item on the Zaya. She has Raw Dominix. This is very, very huge in terms of melting Shen and Nunu in the front to back team fight. So, still a very good chance that blue team can still pull this off. You just need a clean fight. The red team playing around the Zanivia walls is really, really doing a great job. Anivia already having the pick off on the border in the last fight. And now we're gonna see again Anivia trying to do the same thing. But it seems that they are trying to play a jungle trap for the Baron that is about to spawn.
Yeah, they're utilizing the vision that they have because blue team has not been able to get out of their base for the last couple of minutes, so they have had zero chance to put a vision, and they are taking that into consideration when going for that Drake for a Baron. And blue team doing what I think it's the correct play, giving up the Baron. I don't think there's any way you can fight that, especially not against an Anivia. If you get picked off in that jungle, it's GG. You have to give up this Baron. You have to, catch the waves, push up all the waves, get whatever part of your jungle is left, and then go in for one last fight in your base. But it's going to be very, very hard, and we'll see if they manage to pull it off.
If the blue team really, really in a tough situation, if red team does indeed get the 3 inhibitors, it will become increasingly hard for blue team to contest the Elder Drake that will spawn. If red team plays this really well, they don't even need to engage to get the Elder. They just can siege down top turret and top inhibitor and just get the Elder Drake for free. Turret already down, inhibitor will fall as well. They cannot protect this, and now this is a huge, huge mistake by blue team.
Yeah, they're too late to recall, and this might even be the end of the game, but this is the wrong play. They should be going for an elbow buff. They should be saying, but Lissandra gets caught, and that's something
Lissandra
bad.
is completely dead. Anivia still has egg and gets caught from Lissandra ult. Now Lewis has to flash back. Rel goes in, 2-man ults, 2-man stuns. It's 3 damage from Anivia and 3 damage from Senna. This fight will go completely in red side favor. Zaya still doing as best she can to turn this around. Just a little bit, not much. And this game will indeed go in favor of red team. Sacramentum with a 2 and 0.
Yeah, but definitely a way better look for host in the second game. Um, Going in, giving those fights, fighting for the objectives, winning a lot of fights, getting some leads. Definitely a way better look than the first game where they just kind of stayed back and let Sacramentum do whatever they pleased. Unfortunately, they had a couple of mistakes, key mistakes here and there, a couple of positioning mistakes, timing mistakes of fights they should have waited maybe a little bit more to take, and that ended up costing them the game. But in general, it was a good try. I think it was definitely a good attempt, especially looking at the improvement. But Sacramentum with some decently clean games, a couple of oversteps here and there, a couple of maybe underestimating a bit um, of the strength of host, but ending up taking the win.
Like I said in the champion select, as soon as Rel was locked in, I knew she was the champion to look after. Amazing ults and the amazing engages, amazing stuns and knockups. Rel, really an interesting champion, really strong champion in terms of engagement. Really set up a lot of the fights, as well as the Anivia picking off with the walls, the Nunu follow up. a good synergy that red team have and a good skill in terms of individual players. Blue team though, I have to say this, blue team, the second game, major improvement. They executed the fights perfectly, even if the fights started really not a great position in terms of where everyone was. They still executed what the combo they had was meant to kind of do in a certain way, kind of getting on the Senna, trying to melt off the Senna, but the Shen shield, the peeling, the Senna healing and damage, it's just so much, and it's a bit too late. They engaged and forced the fights more a bit in terms of the early game and the early objectives. You might have had a different ending, but at the end of the day, they played the best they could. They did a good performance in the second game. They showed us that they could get red team sweating, and red team did indeed sweat, but the Anivia plays, Rail Synergy was there, and they got the win. A really interesting game, really good game. Very well played to both of teams.
Yeah, and red team ended up, even though they made a few mistakes here and there, and those key moments on those key plays, they ended up doing what they needed to do, getting those clean fights, punishing very, very well the mistakes of host when they split up a little bit too much. When someone was in position to get picked off, that was instantly capitalized on by Sacramentum. So definitely, we can definitely see why they are at the top of the league, very close to it right now, 4-0, and they're looking very, very well, very, very good to win the whole thing. We'll see how they can keep up in those next few games, but if they just tune up a couple of mistakes here and there, a couple of minor adjustments, I really enjoyed how did it play, and fair enough, they played really well, especially with these Anivia walls with those rel engages. Though it was really good. And we are just waiting for Lamps, the support of Sacramentum, to join us soon for an interview. While we wait, um, I just, what do you think of the games in general? Looking forward, it's almost the end of the split. What do you think of what we're still seeing? Do you think we're still seeing what is the best in the meta, or is there something else that teams are not quite finding yet?
I think they're actually bringing a lot of diversity in terms of champions, comps. I've been seeing a lot of champions that I wasn't expecting seeing, a lot of synergy that I haven't even seen yet. So kind of really surprising how different these players play in terms of what we're kind of used to seeing in terms of the normal League of Legends. This game in particular, the Volibear, Lissandra, Nautilus, the dive that they had to go on center, that decision making on draft to pick that comp, pick better scaling champions, not the champion, not that like the Tristan, and not that they actually picked some really juicy champions. Um, Overall, great comps. Really like. Okay.
And we will just get ready and welcome Lamps. First,
Hello,
congratulations on your win.
thank you.
How are you feeling? How do you feel about the games today?
I'm not gonna lie, that second game, that were in the first half, not gonna lie. It was a struggle to get back. We kept getting caught quite a lot.
And on the first game specifically, something we're not expecting was that lane swap from Tristan and Ziggs. Were you at all expecting that, and what was the reaction when you saw that?
No, I had no idea, but it worked out better for the center, personally. I think the Tristana lane would have been a lot harder.
Okay. Kind of in terms of the second game, the rail engages. I have to say, I've been seeing a lot of rails, a lot of the those juicy engages. You actually popped off in the early game in the Drake fight. I think it was a 3-man ulti, a 3-man ulti. Correct me if I'm wrong. Kind of just completely won the boss side in terms of gold advantage. A bit of shame that Nunu got a lot of the kills in
Mm-hmm.
terms of the general engagements, but really clean games. What? How do you? When do you know that when you see that opportunity, what's going through your head? Like, because you know that they can just quickly collapse back on Sen like it happened. How do you kind of time it so that Sen just doesn't get popped? Is there any kind of pre-planned call, pre-planned positioning that so Sen avoids kind of getting collapsed, or it's just like instant go and just straight up engage?
If I'm being totally honest, if I see three people together, I'm like a dog with a bone. I'll just jump on them. I forget the center. I don't care about the center. I just look to get the engage and just hope the center can peel away.
That's kind of true. Senna is indeed has indeed the mechanics to peel, the shield on the ultimate, the heal on the Q, and the snare or root on her W. What were you thinking in one of the fights? Blue team won. The Volibear completely jumping on Senna,
Hmm.
completely one-shotting Senna with the Lissandro. What was going on the team comms at that moment? Was there any type of anxiousness?
Not at all, because we knew there was me and Nunu top, and they just got caught mid lane. I don't think I should have been top. Maybe I should have stuck with the team or just backed, but I don't think there was any anxiousness in the team at all.
Okay. Well, again, congratulations on your win, and good luck in the next few games. We'll see if you can pull off a clean sweep and go on through to win every single game. Definitely looking very strong.
Well, I mean, the next two games are the easiest, so it's fine.
Like the
Ooh.
confidence. Is there anything you want to say to the fans that are watching?
Just thanks for watching and enjoy the next two O's that we're gonna do.
Strong words coming in. And that is actually going to be it from us today. We saw two games. The first game, not as close. Second game, a little bit closer, but very entertaining. And we hope everyone else watching enjoyed. And we hope to see you next time. Thank you for being with us for today.